The Sovereign Futures podcast is a sharing space of transformational interviews, sacred teachings, power imagery processes, innovative futuring tools, and topics that can help you design and sculpt your desired futures into your now. Some of our podcasts will be translated into Spanish to bridge cultures where we share the journey of consciousness together. Welcome to the Sovereign Futures podcast. I am your host, Yvonne de la Flor. And this year, the Sovereign Futures podcast went all English language. Last year, we had the Sovereign Futures podcast, which is a philanthropic podcast. It's really a gift, not only for myself, that I get to interview the greatest minds, the greatest hearts, and the most amazing leaders of life and all areas of life experiences, but it's also a gift, a contribution for our Latin American community and to the world now. This year, I decided to do it in English because the requests, even though I had a great podcast and I had a lot of fun and I learned a lot doing in English and Spanish and introducing great minds to Latin America by translating their wisdom, it was amazing that we received requests even from Latin American people. Yvonne, can you just do it in one language? And I chose English. So that's the first thing that I want to welcome you with. The second is, you probably hear my voice super excited because I have a guest that we already had him before. And I love him so much. And he's just such a great mind and heart. And he's just incredible. And he was able to be in a podcast before that we translated him. And because his podcast, one of the most listened ones. And that's the podcast where people said, Yvonne, we want to hear everything in English. So he's back. But I'll tell you about him in a moment. A couple of other news is that one of my most beloved friends, students, an incredible quantum healer, quantum mechanics, quantum everything teacher, Shasya Subani, has already opened an academy called the Ascended Masters Teachings Academy. This is an academy that I founded, I believe it was 2011. We graduated 4 generations in a row. 4 years of incredible graduated people mastering the arts of the universal laws, mastering very high refined spiritual teachers and very high frequency messages from something that in the spiritual community is known, the Ascended Masters. Shasya Subani is an incredible teacher. She travels worldwide. She brings the technologies of consciousness like sacred geometry, quantum healing in a very scientific manner. And she's right now the spiritual dean of the Ascended Masters Teachings Academy. And also, she's the main teacher of it. So I'm super happy because as a teacher, as a leader, or a mentor, there's no greater joy than not being needed. So something I created, something I used to teach, something I used to give my heart to, now I pass it on to someone else. And I think that makes our creations even more powerful when we can be behind the scenes and let others shine and let others lead. So if you're interested in the Ascended Masters Teaching Academy, we will put all the information in the content of the copy. And that's my announcement today. So now to my guest. Tan, tan, tan. I'm gonna share a little bit of his bio, but he's more than his bio. I've come to know him, again, through our mutual mindset mentor, Mr. Tim Grover, the mentor of minds, geniuses like Kobe Bryant, like Michael Jordan, and like myself, and like my guest. So my guest is Miran Serdarevic. Is that Serdarevic? Is that good, Miran?
It's Miran Serdarevic.
Serdarevic. Oh my gosh, I sound really sexy now. Miran Serdarevic. One of my goals is eventually to learn his language. So Miran Serdarevic, yes. He's a soccer player, soccer coach, and lifeguard, born to Bosnian parents who moved to Norway as refugee to the city of Stavanger, correct?
Yes.
Miran obtained his first professional contract in Sweden and has represented 4 clubs, both in Sweden and Norway. Currently coaching 2 teams under the age of 10. Okay, this is my favorite thing. Under the age of 10 for one of Norway's most successful soccer teams, Viking FK, correct? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And look at the wisdom of this. He's an incredible, I'm almost 50. How old are you, Miran?
I'm 22, and next month I'm
But he has got
turning
his wisdom.
23.
Okay, he's going to become 23. This, I want you to pay attention. I just asked him about his age, not that matters, but the wisdom of this young man is like, if I'm talking to someone 60, 70 that has learned the wisdom, look what Miran says. The mind is everything. Your world is in your mind. The question is, what kind of a world do you live in? And then he shares, because the world you live through from the inside is what you will get on the outside, literally. This is what drives Miran, learning and studying everyone and everything. Look at his openness of mind. This is one of the first principles of a great mindset. Everyone and everything to understand, to develop and improve the greatest project you have in life, which is yourself. Miran, welcome again. I am so excited to have you back. I love you. I'm so impressed with you. I've been able to be a student alongside you of Tim Grover. And I always learn from you. And I'm so grateful that you are back with us. So I'm going to leave the microphone to you for you to share. And I would like for you to share this, a little bit more of your mindset, a little bit more of what you are experiencing now. And, just we'll flow into it. And then I'll ask you some questions because I have some spiritual questions for you because of many people that I met through Mr. Tim Grover. Of a lot of them that are all incredible souls, you are one of the most spiritual persons I've met. Curious, asking the questions that a true spiritual seeker of illumination, of self-realization, of self-mastery will ask. And I don't often have conversations with people. I use my time very mindfully. And you ask the most amazing questions. So please use the microphone and welcome back.
Ivan de la Flor, just to use your full name, which is out of my respect to you. Thank you so much for inviting me again. I love you to death. And what I learned from you has and is the reason of who I am, of the man who I am today. There's no question about it, because what you just read in the bio is the key ingredient of me becoming who I am, and that is to keep my curiosity going, which is extremely vital for me during this stage of my life, because I'm in my early 20s moving into the 30s, to the 40s, and basically I haven't really started to witness what life really is. I'm just starting. But the mindset that I have had for all this time and moving into the future is, what can I do now? What can I do now in the present moment and these next days, the next month? What can I do now so that my life will get easier as it moves forward? Now, again, life won't necessarily become easier of the outcome that will happen, but it will be easier to deal with based on the knowledge that I invest in now. And another key component here in my words is the word I just used, now. Because there is no future, there is no past, there is only now. And since you mentioned about the spirituality now, enlightenment, joy, happiness, it is in the now. This time, since last time we spoke in our first podcast, I've been truly reflecting on just this one word. Now. What does that really mean? And what fascinates me is that whenever you are talking, like for instance, what me and you are doing right now, when you're in the moment, there is no pain, there is no anxiety, there's no depression. You're here in the moment. But within the moment, that's where the wisdom is as well, because everything is in front of you. Me and you have personally talked about Bruce Lee many times, and he said this one thing that stuck with me at whatever I did. If that is me being the coach that I am, the soccer player, or the lifeguard, which is be like water. But I want to take that to another level now again. Once the water is still, you see a reflection of everything, even yourself and everything in front of you. Well, once it's chaotic, when the waves are there, when the storm is coming, there's no chance. You can't see. You can't see. And that's usually where the emotions will come into place when it comes to you as an individual. And it's been vital. It's been vital for me to study these aspects now in this age, to learn about the mindset, how to think, not what to think. Is extremely important. This is one of the things that Tim Grover taught us in the programs with me and Yvonne about how to think. Life is not absolute. It's not. It's so complex. There's no right or wrong. There is no definite answer to anything. It's so complex that we need to take a step back or pause in the moment for a moment and just reflect a little bit, ease off, stay in the moment. Because I witnessed for myself, mentally and physically, the more you're in the moment, the clearer everything gets, even the wisdom itself, how you think and what to do. Sometimes he's right. Sometimes the answer is legit right in front of you. But it's not always easy to do it on this society that we're living in right now, with the distractions of social media, the stressful events that is happening, even down to this global pandemic we're having, COVID-19. And it's even more vital during these times to stay calm in our minds. And that's where the spirituality comes into the picture. And that's how I've been dealing with this and how I'm going to take this for the rest of my life.
Wow, Miran, I have a lot of notes of everything that you are sharing, but it's very. I've been a meditator since 12 years old. So my obsession, just like you, your mindset, your soccer, you're a very spiritual man, has been self-realization, has been mastery, personal mastery of who I am and who I choose to become more and more every day. But I find fascinating that you are one of the best soccer players in the world. I mean, really one of the best. And with that mindset and at this age, it's incredible. So you play in the soccer field, you teach in the soccer field, and you are also a lifeguard. And as a spiritual teacher, practical spiritual teacher that I am, I cannot stop to take everything that I receive as a metaphor of enlightenment and transformation. So a lifeguard, guarding the power of the now. You are a lifeguard, not only in a lifeguarding way for others, when they're in the pool or when they are in the, you are also lifeguarding the now, making sure that you are present in the moment and becoming that model for others. So imagine becoming a lifeguard of the now, which will be mastery, which will be committing to master our thoughts, the how we think, not what we think, the who we become in the process of keep growing. And then you also have the soccer field. And this is where I'm going to ask you a question. How would you imagine the soccer field, how you play?